It's just there's nothing there, kitty. So like, you run it, you get some cores for your first time clearing it, and then after that you don't get any cores. It doesn't sound like there are any drops or anything while you're running it, so effectively you're just running it for nothing. So you're just running it for no reason other than to try to leaderboard place. And for the best teams, the time will come down, but for the best teams right now, it takes about 5 minutes to clear the hardest stage. So it's about a 5-minute run instead of like a 1 minute 30-second run, and you get nothing for it after you've cleared it the first time. So it's kind of just like a nothing. You'll be running none of them probably. I'll consider running it like once we're closer to the end of the season, but I don't see running it now when the leaderboard placement's going to change so much. It's not rewarding as gross as fuck. Yeah, I think that for some people, chasing the leaderboard is fun, but chasing the leaderboard when you know it's not going to matter and you're not going to get any rewards just kind of feels mid at best. Because like it being a 5-minute run, I don't think really bothers anybody. I don't think it would bother anybody if it was a half-hour run. Because like I think if you turned in some content and somebody was like, okay guys, we're going to be running like this new dungeon and it's a 45-minute run, no matter what you do, no matter how good your gear is, you're expecting to be in here for at least 45 minutes. But at the end, you get something nice, people would be interested. I think that it only being the top 100 is going to be a problem. We've maintained that for a long time. Well, we've maintained that since they brought it up. It being like the top 100 is going to be an issue because the top 100 is such a small group that it's going to be easy to be filled with like cheaters, hackers, and smurfs and multi-accounts that most people will not be in the top 100, right? If it was like the top 5, top 1,000, top 10,000 that got medals, people would be interested in it. Smurfs dual account, sort of the same thing, right? Doesn't really matter. Just depends on how you want to look at it. It's 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. I'd say it's probably double accounts is like a better word. Like double account is probably a better word for a game like this and not Smurfs. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just people call it Smurfs when you're doing like PvP and competition because it's like a different account. Like you're a badass and you're playing on like a Smurf account that's like brand new, so you can farm clips because you're playing with people who are shittier than you or who are like lower ELO and whatever. As compared to like what you're doing here, which is you're not trying to hide your skill level. You're just needing another name or another account so you can put your name on the leaderboard more frequently. Which again, we have friends and community members that do it. I'm not hating on the people for doing it, but I'm just saying that the more you do that, the less accessible that leaderboard is for other people. And when you make it less accessible for other people, then other people are just not going to engage in the process, right? Like if your name is on there, if you personally have your name on there 30 times, but you have it on there 30 times because you have 5 accounts, I don't really care, like whatever. But if the pool of people that can get on there is so small, then eventually people are just not going to engage in the process, right? Because if it's not that important or like it isn't that big of a deal, then most people aren't going to run multiple accounts, right? But like, so what happens with the leaderboards now is because of the way they have them set up. So say Sin, Ashley, Anthony, and 3 get the number 2 spot. And then like China logs on and China takes the number 2 spot from them. And then China switches accounts. Like one person on their team switches an account and then they run it again. And now Sin, instead of being in the number 3 spot, is in the number 4 spot. And then somebody else switches an account and now Sin's the number 5 spot. And then somebody else switches an account, and then you see what I mean, and you start doing it. And what you're doing is you're artificially pushing somebody off the leaderboard for no fucking reason. And then what that does is that incentivizes other people who are pushing. Yeah, that's actually what happens, right? But then the other people who are constantly getting pushed off the leaderboard are like, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to do the same thing. So then they do the same thing, and then they counter run, and now all of a sudden the first 30 spots are taken up by the same 8 people. 8 people own 30 spots on a 100-spot leaderboard. Well, if you do that, then why the fuck do I want to try to be on that leaderboard? You know, you can get 16 people that own the top 100 slots. Well, I don't want to fucking engage in that. I don't want to engage in that because I'm not one of those 16 people, right? And that's if you even need 16 people, because you could do it alternatively where they could like carry me and put me on the leaderboard, and they can still use all of their main accounts and be on the leaderboard another time, right? So again, not complaining, I don't care, but it's just one of those things where if you're going to set up like a leaderboard system, you need to be aware of the integrity of your leaderboards and how they function. And if you did not have the foresight to see this coming and see how this could create a problem and how it could de-incentivize people from interacting, then you have allowed this to happen, right? As a developer, you have allowed that to happen. So then when you create a situation where only a handful of people are going to engage with the content in general, and then you incentivize people to block other people from being on the board for no reason, and then you're going to allow cheaters and other people to get on the board because we know that happens. Like, you're just creating a system that nobody wants to engage in. And then at the end of the day, out of those 100 people or those 100 spots, they get nothing other than a medal at the end of the season. Like, you're just creating a system that nobody's going to want to engage in. And then that's what's going to happen right now, is they were like, hey, we've got speedrunners in the community. Speedrunners seem to be enjoying this content. Let's build content for speedrunners. But then they don't understand speedrunners, and they don't understand, it's seemingly they don't understand the way that their average gamer, like gamers, are thinking. And they're not creating a rewarding system. They're just creating a system that rewards speedrunners, but then the system also punishes speedrunners because there's no integrity to the system. And then it's punishing speedrunners because they can be fucking multi-accounted off of the board and their hard work doesn't matter. So then they're not going to want to engage because it doesn't matter, because multi-accounts are going to push them off the board. And then your average gamer is not going to play because there's no incentive for them to play because they're never even going to get on the board. And then your speedrunners aren't going to really care because unless they get one of the 100 slots, they're not going to get anything. And while they're grinding it, they don't get anything. So you've created a situation where nobody's getting anything good from it except for like 12 of your players. So out of the, 100,000 people that play the game per season, a dozen people are going to get something. That is creating content for like your top 0.0001% of your players. And you should never, ever, 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 ever do that. Yo, what up, God? What up, God? Like, you should just never do that. That is content that should never, ever be created. That is a waste of time on such a scale that I can't even explain it. Like, when they were doing a roundtable talk, somebody should have asked these questions. Or like, if you don't have people that are going to ask these questions, then do a fucking like, gather community members around, gather content creators around, ask people what they think. They're looking at the wrong direction. They definitely need a community manager. I mean, I think that at this point they need somebody who can ask questions and figure things out in a way. Again, not shitting on the game, but like, Purge is one of those things where the new Purge is 1,000,000% a missed mark on every level. There is no part of it that I'm like, this was good. I'm a big fan of this update. I think there were a lot of really good things in this update. I think there's some good quality of life things. I think that the component changes are great. I think some of the rebalance stuff they've done with Inez is much better. I think some of the new component sets are awesome. I think Blair hit the mark. I think Alt Blair hit the mark 100%. I don't think he's OP. I don't think he's too strong, but I think he hit the mark on what they needed. This is the way that new Descendants should release, and like this sort of power level, right? They're strong. They can do good things in the sandbox. Like a lot of things are really good. There's so much about this update that was great. The new Purge missed the mark.